Want to just thank you guys for letting us come here. It's humbling to get to come talk about what we're doing, and definitely thanks to Chris and Tammy for inviting us here tonight. I'm Kane McConnell. I'm the VP of IT at the Cresca group and the director of LampCamp. I started programming when I was 9. My dad gave me a Sinclair ZX81 and that started the whole thing. A few years later, I lucked into a job where my boss saw some skills in me that he recognized and began mentoring me more into a IT and development role. And that started a now 19-year career in development, mostly focused on PHP.
My name is Jay Solomon, and I'm the president of the Cresca group. My wife and I, a couple of years ago, began a number of e-commerce businesses and brands that over the course of time we sold off and decided to get into consulting, and we are the sponsors of LampCamp as a program.
One of the or the core component of what we do in LampCamp, which is a development educational program, is mentorship. It is the root of everything we do there. And you know, as most of you guys know, you can learn PHP online, you can teach it to yourself, you can learn how to write. But to truly learn how to take a business case and turn out a solution that solves those problems from start to finish really takes a level of experience. It takes mentoring, it takes trial and error. And that is really what we focus on in LampCamp. So
just to give you a quick, what is LampCamp? What are we talking about here? LampCamp is a 480-hour program in our lab, in our facilities, and it is programming in a real development environment. The way that people complete LampCamp is by getting 480 hours of experience and also 7 badges that we believe represent various elements of the LAMP stack and also the development lifecycle. And over the course of their time, how do they know that they're getting these particular badges? It's because they take a series of quizzes, and a number of quizzes add up to a particular badge. Where we see the beauty of these badges is that they're displayed on campers' desks so that other newer campers and also LampCamp staff can see what they've learned and what they've accomplished, and that helps facilitate conversation between older and newer campers, because when somebody gets stuck on a particular code or a part of their code or a challenge, they can go and say, oh, I see that you're particularly good at PHP databases. Can you help me work through this problem?
another thing that the badges do for us administratively is that it really allows us to monitor a camper's progress through the program, but also allows us to monitor the program. Are we delivering the content that enables somebody to learn the things that we're saying they should be learning? And it enables us to identify people that are excelling in the program and put them in a team lead position that allows them to get a new dynamic of mentorship, because now not only are they being mentored, but they have an opportunity to mentor their own little team of 5 or 6 people in the program as well. When we built out, oh, you're already there. When we built out the facility, we're very fortunate to have a dedicated facility just for this program. We decided to go with an open floor format. So there's no cubes. We want to stimulate collaborative nature, and we want to facilitate people being able to have easy access to us and easy access to each other. If they're stuck on a question, or if we're walking around and we see something on a screen that we just know is never going to work, and we can redirect that camper into developing a different route. So it's a great environment to facilitate that kind of behavior. Everything that we do in LampCamp, in addition to being focused on mentoring, we do with a mindset of being collaborative. So the tools that we select, the software that we use, like I said, the open floor format, is all to stimulate that collaborativeness. We have whiteboards everywhere. It's the most, we have more whiteboards than Staples. And we really encourage people to get away from the screen when they're stuck, get with their teammates, write it out, scribble it out, draw it out, whatever it needs to happen, but be communicative of what's working, what's not working, what do you know, what don't you know.
So we also have internal forums, and the idea there is to encourage people to not always interrupt everybody else when they need a little bit of help, but to put their challenges up in forums that other people can peruse when they get stuck to help push forward other campers and other projects. We're big believers in the idea that everybody should drive, particularly in a mentoring relationship. I'm sure a lot of you remember learning how to drive when you were 15 or 16, and the idea wasn't to sit in the passenger seat and watch somebody tell you about it. It was to sit behind the wheel and understand what it was to move 2,000 pounds of car to the right. And that's how you learn to do something. So we like to create an environment using Nitrous as our IDE so that everybody can have a keyboard in front of them and work on the same code at the same time. And when somebody comes in to mentor and to teach, they don't have to be like, if you could just slide over and let me take your keyboard, that would be great. Everybody can sit in front of their own computer and be involved. And we think that's a great part of letting people learn by doing.
Another great thing about Nitrous and really any cloud-hosted IDE is that we can deploy our entire framework and database architecture and dummy data, everything that we need for a new camper or to reset a camper in about 12 seconds. And so that allows us to kind of eliminate the fear of, am I going to blow this up? What if I do this wrong? You know, really kind of second guessing and doubting yourself. We welcome those opportunities when something blows up, because you'll always remember that you took down a virtual machine, not that you took down a production server or a staging server. So it really enables us to be flexible and very quick and deploy what we need to on everybody's machine.
So as consultants, we're regularly in positions where we have to do needs assessments for clients, and we go in and we say, what does your situation look like right now? What's been going well? What happened historically? What's terrible? What's the best future scenario? And these sorts of needs assessments are essential to helping people become developers and not just be able to write lines of codes or string together, you know, various elements to create a little program or widget, but to be able to solve business needs and be plugged into an actual employment opportunity in PHP or a LAMP stack environment. And so we make sure that the tools we use allow that so that people can see the larger projects that they're working on, sort of a peek behind the curtain. It's not just about your single issue or task or just the week's sprints. You understand how to assess business problems and develop business solutions for them.
We also run sort of a light version of the Scrum framework, so we don't, we're not completely married to textbook Scrum, but we do it enough that, for one, we're able to manage all the projects because we are a working development shop, but also to give everybody involved an opportunity to really go through that full development life cycle and have a say in the architecting, be involved in the scoping of sprints. We work in weekly sprints, and we do milestone releases, and we found that to be not only very beneficial to managing all of the simultaneous things going on in LampCamp, but it also gives some critical skills for going into the workplace where you're going to be involved in somebody else's, whether it's waterfall or agile or whatever that shop's using. You're going to be familiar with those components that involve team collaboration and getting things moving and getting them done on time. One of the things that I am very excited about and very proud of is the Zeus framework. It's a proprietary framework completely on PHP. Initially, prior to LampCamp, we did a lot of internal development to prepare this, and it's what LampCamp campers build on top of when they arrive. It allows us to not necessarily have to start from scratch, because we want campers coming in that have a little bit of development background already, and provide some core functionality that isn't really worth learning, that we just need it to happen. On top of that, each camper is responsible for building different parts of applications. It's very plug and play, And so if one team's isn't working and the other team's is, we're not getting any conflict between the two. And it allows us to send people out of LampCamp having experience learning a framework that may not be one that you can download off the internet that's open source or whatever, and being introduced to some things that will be helpful in a professional development lab.
So one of the other values of having these coding standards is it helps us sort of keep an environment where it's not an instinct to run to Stack Overflow or other online resources. By asking people to avoid those sorts of resources or just go look them up, but not copy and paste code right into production environments, it encourages people to turn to their neighbors and actually say, hey, can you teach me something? Can you show me how to do this? And that relationship that's fostered between campers works in both directions. Someone's learning, someone's teaching and reinforcing their own learning in the meantime, rather than just copying and pasting code and then maybe cleaning it up a little bit for your environment. And having these kinds of Zeus level coding standards lets us keep an environment like that.
One thing that we really try to foster in LampCamp is an ecosystem of mentorship, and you hear us say the word mentor a lot, and that's really what this all boils down to. It's easy for us to think of mentorship as a one-to-one relationship, and it really isn't. It's a multi-dimensional relationship. So while I might have a one-to-one relationship with somebody out in the lab, I also have a one-to-many relationship with LampCamp. And I have a relationship with my staff that is mentoring. The team leads have a mentoring relationship with their teams. And then teammates have mentoring relationships with each other because people come in at different skill levels. And so we really try to nurture a well-rounded ecosystem of that environment rather than it just being a top-down instructor-led kind of thing.
So an additional element of that multi-dimensional ecosystem for mentoring is what we call Wilderness Week. And Wilderness Week is the first week of every single month, which incidentally is this week. And that's why we've asked a number of LAMP campers to come out here today to start to, there they are. You can wave, it's okay. And to start to interact with the larger PHP community in Atlanta so that they can develop relationships and learn what it is, what the experiences that other people had looking for their first jobs in PHP, or how they apply PHP in a more hobby-based environment, or whatever it happens to be. In addition to coming down here, we also bring employers and recruiters into LampCamp to help people work on their interview skills, on their resumes, on their LinkedIn profiles, so that they understand what it is that they're getting into when they start to finish the program and look for jobs and work in the real world.
I think one of the greatest aspects and one of the things that attracts me the most to this group, to AtlantaPHP, is that my first trip, I really thought, I'd be a fish out of water, that there'd be just so much knowledge here that I'd, never want to come back. And the group format here is really one of a community of mentorship. We're all here and feeding information to each other, gleaning from each other. And I think the thought that I want to place in your minds is that mentorship doesn't have to happen just within an educational program. And you are all in senior roles and junior roles and engineers and project managers and whatever your role is, there are opportunities not only to be the mentor, but also to be mentored. And it's one of the characteristics I love of this group, and it's a challenge that we kind of throw out everywhere, to always be seeking both of those opportunities to be mentoring people that can learn from you, and to never stop being in a position where you're being mentored by someone else as well.
So along those lines, we hope that you will connect with us, connect with campers, do whatever you can to help them find people who are looking for, in companies that are looking for junior developers, and help into the wider world of PHP development.
We're going to be sticking around afterwards and heading over to the restaurant as well. So would love to talk to you about a little more what we do. And again, really appreciate being able to come here and talk about LampCamp and what it is we do every day.
And we also have some cool swag from Nitrous the IDE, and some LampCamp tumblers. So if you come say hi afterwards, we'll be glad to hand those out to you. So thank you very much for your time.